Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. The world is very different now. For man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty, and all forms of human life. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender, or submission. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. When power leads man toward arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. There are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. A child miseducated, sick, is a child lost. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers. Our problems are man-made, therefore, they may be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Let us never negotiate out of fear. But let us never fear to negotiate. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. There is always inequality in life. Some men are killed in a war and some men are wounded and some men never leave the country. Life is unfair. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. The supreme reality of our time is the vulnerability of this planet. In giving rights to others which belong to them, we give rights to ourselves and to our country. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. World peace, like community peace, does not require that each man love his neighbor, it requires only that they live together with mutual tolerance, submitting their disputes to a just and peaceful settlement.